Hey, are we here?
Yep, I think we're here.
Cool. I think all of our conversations start that way,
I know.
like every single one. I'm going to take a second and move something very critical. That saltings box meant I couldn't see your face.
Oh, you're just talking to a box of crackers.
This is a very clean studio, you guys. Very, very clean. I'm definitely going to turn my camera on and show you all of the pristineness. Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
Welcome back again.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this. I know we've talked about this before, but I think that these portfolio and session reviews could be something really, really unique that we're offering to this community. I also like the coffee angle, which today we're drinking a beautiful Traverse City tap water because I forgot to make coffee this morning.
It's refreshing.
Ironically, it's because I've had too much caffeine today.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Just like rushing,
You're like, go,
getting
go,
things
go.
done.
I got this.
Late, behind. We'll try to, once we get the kinks worked out on all of the actually process and streaming of this stuff, I feel like then we can start to work on like consistency and like when we do
Yeah,
like showing up on time, that stuff that takes years to dial in, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, we're not super.
This was my fault this time.
You say that, but it's not like I would have been more on time if you hadn't had traffic issues.
Been late.
Yeah. So today we are looking over a portfolio of yours. I guess we should probably start with the normal stuff. Like, how's your season going? We're like kind of like mid-season.
Yeah.
I've been crazy. I've been slammed. I'm surprised that we've been able to like have any time to do anything like streaming. How about yourself?
Yeah, I've been really busy. I mean, really busy in comparison to last year.
Right. Yeah.
And yeah, I'm really excited about it. It's been kind of crazy. Like, I'm in awe of like how many people are like reaching out to me. And I know this sounds weird, but
great.
my business hasn't been around that long, but like how many like referrals I've been getting and like, strangers. It's not like family members anymore. It's actual like people that, just want to work with me. So
when you say referrals, do you mean like from within the community or from just like random leads?
Kind of everything. So like referrals from other vendors, and referrals from other clients that I've had.
That's great.
It's been kind of like a game changer in terms of, I don't know, how I work and like my process, because I don't know, it's a big confidence boost and I'm like finally getting into a rhythm, I guess, that I want to get in. So
can you give me any insight on the split between like cold leads from people you've never heard of, stuff from vendors, stuff from like previous clients? If you like roughly, I'm not asking for like data points down to the percentage.
I mean, most of it is either vendor referrals from like other photographers, or just like Instagram. And which is kind of crazy that, I don't know, I've gotten a lot of people that said that they've just seen me on Instagram and I like don't have that many followers or anything. So I don't know. Must be doing something right with the algorithm.
Yeah. I'm so torn about that stuff. Like, first of all, I want to back up. I was going to say something else, but I think one of the most important things to take from that is how valuable word of mouth marketing really is. Social media is just a shorthand for the same process, right? Like, as much as it feels like a revolutionary shift to things on the internet, the idea that a client had a great experience, so they wanted to share with their friends, hi, I had a great experience with this photographer, you also should work with them, is no different.
Yeah.
But also, anybody who is listening and is just getting started in their career, building those relationships early with your clients, but also within your community. It can feel very counterintuitive early on, thinking anytime that I'm like making friends with a photographer, I'm just going to have to like hurt their feelings because I want all of their work. I remember really early on being very, very hungry for work and thinking every time I saw a photographer, I was like, oh, that's something that I could have been shooting. But now any work that I can't take, like handing it off to somebody else, feels awesome. Knowing that when I like my systems that I've built over a decade of trying to get people aware of us, that I can use that engine to better somebody else's life, that's an incredible feeling.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I'm glad you feel that way, because like getting some referrals from, not you like not only you, I should say, but like other, like a couple of other photographers in the area that I like really look up to.
Right.
Like hearing a client say like, oh, hey, this person gave me your name. I'm like, really? Like, thank you. Like,
that's really cool.
It feels really good. So
yeah,
we have a really nice, like supportive community, and going into it, I was kind of intimidated, like of all the photographers that, you know, I really looked up to, and it's not that intimidating. People are really nice and helpful. I mean,
part of it is the specific community up north, right? Yeah. Like the Northern Michigan vibe is very low key, very like
easygoing,
family friendly, very community oriented. Yeah, very easygoing. But even in some more like cutthroat communities, I definitely have just been traveling and reached out over Instagram and just said, hey, so and so big photographer with lots of followers, you look nice. Do you want to grab coffee and just like, I mean, this is pre-COVID, of course. You want to grab coffee and just like chat and not take pictures. I have great friends that I've met that way. So I think building those relationships early is a really, really valuable way to knock your career up a step. But that also being said, your work has been becoming exceptional because you've been putting a lot of effort into it. And so I think it would, we would be remiss if we weren't commenting on the fact that part of that is just that your work is killer right now.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
So on that note, unless you've got anything else you want to talk about, let's talk about your portfolio.
Yeah, let's do it. I'm just answering some questions on Facebook. Cool. Let's make a note to like make an announcement or like a folder or like a list of where people can sign up for portfolio reviews. For sure. I'm making a note of any questions. If you want to call them out, we can. Sounds good. Where to submit. For those that are astute, I got a new iPad, and I'm definitely going to do some sort of review on brainstorming and note-taking and kind of productivity around this process, because it's only been, when did I get this there? Like a week ago? I think so. And it's felt like a huge game changer. Like the being able to like take notes and draw. Oh man, so big. Okay, so any other questions other than just like where to submit so far? Nope, not right now. And we'll approach that when the time comes. We'll get there. Before we dive into questions or anything like that, Sarah, or looking at photos, I would love to hear from you your thoughts on where your portfolio is. I don't need you to dive into like specific photos, but talk to me about the direction your company is going, the direction your work is going, kind of what you are trying to attract. Yeah. And we don't want to get negative. I don't want to necessarily talk about like who you're trying to repel, but that's also an aspect of it. Is there anything? I guess we should talk about that. Yeah. Not be too sensitive. I think I am, based in Northern Michigan. I personally got interested in photography just by wanting to like document traveling and like adventuring. So my work, I think, kind of expresses that. Like environmental shots are really important to me. I really like capturing people kind of in different environments. So that kind of, I think, is consistent throughout my work, is that I want to honestly just be like a adventure photographer. Like even if you're not a pro hiker, there's no way I am. Like we can still go to the dunes or go to the beach and, make some memories together. So that's really consistent throughout my work. I also think I guess I'm really into details. And so I think that shows across on my portfolio as well. And I like trying to think how to word things. Really just, candid documentary feeling, especially becoming a mom. I feel like I've realized how important family photos are. I don't know if you felt that, like with Milo. 100%. I like never used to want to be I didn't really want to be a family photographer. I always wanted to be a wedding photographer. A weather photographer? Yeah. I guess that is a thing. Yeah, storm chasers and whatnot. So I also feel like I'm really trying to document kids being themselves and like the environments that they grow up in. I think is kind of where part of my work is shifting. That's so interesting. I wrote down, how has parenting changed your work? I think that's a really important concept or really important discussion to be had. And it's something that we should do another time. Yeah. Because we could do 2-3 hours on that. I'm sure we could do a roundtable on people that
started their career pre-family, pre-children, pre-marriage, and then evolved their family. Because it does change.
Yeah.
Priorities shift. Like even, as broad as what kind of work do I want to do? Do I want to do this work any longer? Is this going to be my career? And as narrow as like what your focus is on during a shoot. Because I still want this to be my job for a lot of reasons. I still enjoy the work, but the specific images that I get now have changed a little bit.
Yeah, that's so interesting.
Cool. Yeah, let's. I've got that written down. We'll make sure we bring that up as another discussion another day. Is there anything in your portfolio that you are intentionally like keeping out, or is there anything that you like don't want to see? Anybody that. I want to be kind here. I don't want to say like people have bad taste. Like,
there's no studio work in there.
Okay. By design?
Yes. Yep. By design. I'm not really a studio photographer. I think it's a useful skill to have, and we've talked about going over studio stuff. But I really want my work to be outdoors and in environments. So I think that is my first thought. But there is actually something that I want to keep in. There's a couple photos that might not be the best photo, but I have 3 dogs. I want people to bring their dogs to sessions. Yeah. So I also included a few photos that might not be the best, but their dogs are cute. So I threw them in there.
So this is a really interesting statement, because a portfolio is very different from your best work. If you had a showing, an art like showing, and for whatever reason they wanted to see family work, and that's not traditionally what you would see up at a gallery, you wouldn't show work that wasn't your best. But in this situation, every single photo has a job to do, right? And so you can say this photo is going to attract somebody that really wants to be out on the dunes, or wants to be seen as an adventuring type of family. And this photo is going to draw people in who like dogs. And also repel people who don't want like muddy paw prints on their outfit when they're on their shoot. Like that's a valid decision, right? It's not a judgment against those people, and that's why I'm being very cagey with my language. I don't want to come across like we're casting aspersions on anybody, but at the same time we want to be very intentional with every single photo that shows up in our portfolio. Across the board, I think most photographers have too many photos in their portfolio. I have too many photos in my portfolio. I have set my website up in a way that kind of allows for that. My portfolio pages kind of end with like an infinite scroll. So like you're going to get through like the 10, 20, 30 best photos, and then it'll just keep going. Okay. But most people are not going to look that far. So I am not taking my own advice, but I think I've dialed it in a way that might work. Okay. So I think we have 30 pictures here. This is an incredible number of photos. Is this the actual portfolio that you are showing, or did you build this for me?
Both. Okay. I guess I honestly need to update my website. So
we all do.
Some of those aren't even on my website. So kind of going through when I knew that I would be doing this, I was like, okay, what do I want my portfolio to look like? I want it to be dog friendly. I want it to be adventure friendly. I want it to be family friendly. All right, I'm going to kind of go through. There's actually a couple of photos that are from last week that I just thought were like really sweet, and I threw them in. But there's work that is from last year that is not on my website, but it should be. Yeah. So, yeah, a mix of both. I guess I did kind of make it for you.
Perfect. No, that's great. And that maybe part of this process will trick other people into also kind of updating their portfolio. Not that anybody should waste their time updating their portfolio mid-season. If you're like out shooting consistently, if you're getting work that's not worth your time in the off season when we're all slower, that's when to do this. Now, different situation. We're not waiting for winter to have this conversation. Yep. So cool. So if you want to switch over to the computer view with all 3 of us, number 3 being our baby, Mrs. Computer. Let me know when we can see.
Yep, we're good.
So I have not seen these. I have, of course, seen a lot of this work. Oh, that's so pretty. Sorry, I'm already getting distracted. I've not seen these. I'm intentionally going in blind so that I can kind of react to this in real time. I am also aware that these are not necessarily in any particular order, correct?
Correct.
Gotcha.
There might be like a couple shots from the same shoot in a row.
Okay.
But honestly, I don't know
Yeah,
exactly how they transferred, so we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. So I think we just kind of dumped them. They've got
Yeah.
random file names, and we've kind
Mm-hmm.
of dumped them, which, you know, if you're on your website,
Yeah.
you probably want to dial those in for SEO.
Mm-hmm.
But here, we're just going to kind of play with them and see what we can get into. So just like the session review we did last time, I'm just going to start looking at the entire kind of session or the entire portfolio as a whole. Oh, these are so good. Yeah, like I'm seeing that these look to be all from the same. If we have enough time, we could always dial in and start to like put these in order, because order does matter.
Yeah.
You know, when you're looking at them,
Mm-hmm.
you want your like absolute best up at the top. The number of times I've talked to a photographer and their portfolio, looked at their portfolio with them, and they go, "Oh yeah, I don't know why that one's in there." It's like, well, then why is it in there? Like every single one of these should be telling something that you want to tell. And it should be showcasing some aspect of your business and your work that you want to be seen. I guess let's just start at the top. I love this photo. I was at this shoot. What?
Are you in a catalog? I can see the computer, but I don't see like the photos yet.
Wait. Explain.
So like
what exactly are you seeing?
I literally just see
Like a desktop?
Streaming. Yeah, the desktop, it says streaming, and then there's a folder open.
1 second, friends.
Okay.
Oh wait, maybe I do this. It might be set up to do. No, it's to mirror displays.
Sorry, I figured we'd
Patience.
figure it out before
I agree.
I say something in 5 minutes.
That's not even the right stuff.
Right? What is that?
I wonder, is it frozen? Oh.
I did transition it because that says program, right? There we go. Cool. All right.
Just needed a refresh.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, of course.
Sorry about that.
Technical fun stuff. All right, are you seeing? So nobody could see me scrolling through the grid, correct?
No.
Okay, gotcha. So as I move, you can see this move?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to do another quick scroll
Okay.
through this whole thing. I think that we're going. I just want to make sure everybody gets a kind of a holistic view of things. Yeah, this is beautiful. So when I gestured and said these three are from the same session, nobody could see that. That's hilarious. Okay, so again, we're just going to kind of dive into individual photos here. I want to make sure we can see kind of like the holistic at the same time. So we're going to do one of these guys and then get rid of the toolbar. Let's get rid of you. Perfect. Okay. I love this photo. I was on this session.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a high school senior. I love the green elements brought into here, which really showcases like your attention to like the natural, to the organic, the kind of the real world. I think this one, I like this photo did we lose this guy?
Yeah.
Oh.
Just time out. Sorry again. Yep. Now we're back. Cool.
Well, why don't we do this just to be safe?
Cool.
Things around. Confusing. Technical fun stuff. I like this photo. One thing that I find a little like off or kind of jarring. Hold on. I find this kind of like across their eye line to be a little kind of like difficult to read.
Yeah.
So to me, if you had just like taken your camera in live view and just go up a little higher, that would either put their heads here, or even if you just got like a little lower and have it like have that concrete kind of fill in their whole person there, those lines across like horizons. We talked about this in the past, like
Yeah.
horizon lines being straight. If you're shooting into like the water, if that horizon line can be above their head so that their head doesn't like break that seam between them, very like those tiny little minutia really can help elevate a photo.
Yeah. I totally agree. This is something that I've really been conscious of this season. So that this photo is from last year, and let me just say I'm 5 feet tall, so this is really hard for me to do.
Is that your real height?
Yes, it is.
That's awesome.
On a good day. It's probably 4'11".
4'11". That's
so
hilarious.
This is something that I've been like super conscious about trying.
Yeah.
There's probably going to be 1 or 2 other photos that the horizon lines are off.
Okay.
Just because it honestly is like, I don't like shooting in live view.
Oh,
and it's something that I've really had to force myself to do.
I wonder if you would enjoy, and this might happen on your Fuji. I wonder if you might enjoy shooting with like the R5 or the R6 because of the mirrorless setup. They're more fluidly kind of shifting between live view and through the eyepiece.
Yeah.
And it has like the eye sensor that will swap it, and so you get that sensation of like you take a picture and then you can just do this kind of like throw your hand up there without having to like kind of slap into it. I've got somebody who lent me the R6 recently, and I've got somebody who's going to lend me the R5 to play with.
Cool.
Pardon. It's that great Traverse City water coffee.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I get a chance to review the R5, you should come over and play with it, because I think you might your what do they call it? Vertical challenges might
appreciate it.
Might appreciate that. That being said, this photo also does something else really good, which is like broadcasting that you are like conscientious of your client's safety in an era of COVID. I know it's like over, but I think with the Delta variant, we are going to be experiencing kind of COVID interaction with our industry for a while still. And I think that showing some sort of masked photo, I think, is probably a really prudent thing. Even having it like high up on the list, I think would be a really valuable thing. This is just beautiful. I love like looking through the timeline down here, seeing the photos that we have. I really like seeing a variety of composition, seeing silhouette that just really showcases off the the natural beauty of that sunset. I'm not a flash photographer. I don't really like using off-camera flash personally. This is no no pun intended, no shade towards anybody that does. But I'm not the type that's going to bring lights and a battery pack and a stand and a diffuser and an assistant to light this person so that we can also see the backdrop, or so to see the sunset. I'm more likely going to turn around and get the sunset light on them. But this is such a beautiful way. You have this photo paired with that really beautiful portrait lighting. This is killer. And to show, I think this does speak to your attention to detail that you're trying to promote. And then you add in something like this where you're showing black and whites and puppies. I think showing like lots of different types of work is really, really valuable. And something like this as well, right? Show it like, I love this type of shot, showing the subject out of focus and kind of giving the backdrop the attention with, I mean, I guess it's kind of pretty similar. This is kind of like a similar concept. They would be very upset if these are the only photos they got. Oh yeah. Right? Like just them in focus or out of focus throughout the entire ceremony. You're just like, hey, there's cool boats on the lake. But it's great framing with, the come on drawing thing. This drawing app just like
freezes.
It like doesn't like to lose focus. So like this with this right in the middle, it's just lovely. I think if I were to put these all in order, I don't know that I would, again, maybe we should assume that this is the order, just for argument's sake, and then we can kind of play from there. I would not put this very high up on the list. I would probably put this like halfway or like a third of the way down. I guess we are almost a third of the way down. This, I think, is a similar idea to the foot one, but is much more emotional. This one to me shows dirty feet, has no problem kind of like hiking for the right photo. I'm really, hold on, is this? I really want this to not be poison ivy, but is that poison ivy?
I don't know.
No.
They didn't tell me they got poison ivy.
My plant experts out there are going to like correct me on this. I do not think that's poison ivy. I think I see 3. I know what it looks like in the wild.
I know.
I'm very, very aware of poison ivy, but if that was, it would be a very different
right.
photo. Sarah is going to endanger you on your photo shoot. But again,
I didn't think of that.
What's that?
I said I didn't think of that. Maybe I should take that one out.
No. Honestly, it doesn't bother me. I don't think it's poison ivy. I think very few of our clients are like, although you came out to us, actually, this shoot. The first
one, yeah.
You came out to this. Her mom is like a poison ivy researcher.
Yeah. Well, she was a pediatrician, and I guess like she did some research with children who had gotten poison ivy or something.
She gave me soap. It's in my like downstairs, like come home from a shoot and scrub down before
just
getting
in case.
Yeah. I have that Fells naphtha.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I'm gonna write that on my phone actually. I've gotten poison ivy twice this year.
Oh, seriously?
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
I know.
Is it as bad as I remember? Or is it kind of not great? Or kind of not that bad?
I don't know. I mean, people that are allergic to it, I feel like, I don't really know how it works, but I've heard people have really bad reactions. It's never hit me that bad.
Okay.
Like it's almost like a few bug bites or something. Like,
okay, that's not that bad.
Yeah.
Like as long as you like leave it alone, does it just kind of like go away pretty quickly?
Yep.
How long did it last?
Few days, maybe a week.
I mean, it sucks, but it's
right.
not the end of the world.
I know. So
I'm always really paranoid that my clients are gonna get.
I know.
I like
the woman in this photo.
The one up right now.
She got poison ivy on that shoot.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
The worst that I ever had was a bride who we put them in front of this like really cool like woodshed, and then like a couple of bees like climbed up her dress and stung her like on the legs.
Yeah.
That wasn't fun. She wasn't allergic or anything like that. They weren't that painful, but it was still like.
I know.
Sorry.
I felt so bad. It was like
not fun.
But.
Cool. Moving on. This texture, bomb, really good. I think this is the type of photo that is really going to want to be seen, like blown up. I think these images with clients very small are fun, and again, we want to see lots of different types of composition to show kind of like your range of ability in a portfolio. Personally, I like some of these. But again, they don't read super well. Like even if you look just like on this little timeline down here, they read messy, but they don't when they're blown up, right? They read much better when they're blown up. So I think be careful with these like super experimental ones in your portfolio. Make sure that they read in the grid as well, because that's how people are going to most likely see them. Well, I guess it depends on how you're displaying it.
Okay.
If you're doing like a full page kind of carousel, that might work a little bit better. Actually, another point important. Where are most of your clients seeing your portfolio? Are they on their phone? Are they?
Oh, that's true.
We all. I mean, we build our website on our computer and we see it that way.
Right.
But mobile is what
they're probably looking at it on their phone.
60% mobile. And so this one is kind of mobile forward, which is valuable. So I'm sure if you pull this up on your phone, it probably looks very really pleasing. Awesome. I love this picture of yours. We used it for a graphic, didn't we?
For like one of the challenges we had was like a water interaction.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and that was the cover. I think cropped their heads and just did like focused on like the, splash, I guess. But yeah, I love this. I put it in my portfolio because, well, first of all, I did nail the horizon level, and I also feel like that's something that I love. Just clients that are really just not afraid to get like messy, and
for sure.
So I put this in there because it's just so fun, and like
you nailed the splash. This is
you.
the best splash. This part right here. Hold on. Oh, come on, Zoomy. Where are you? There you are. This stuff. Oh, so great. Like this whole shape right here is so. This is the thing I feel like I would see in like a catalog where like an ice cube is hitting like the Coca-Cola perfectly, and they shot 40,000 of them to get that perfect splash. Yeah,
I definitely didn't shoot 40,000 photos to get that one. I don't know how many I shot, but
probably not. Probably a lot.
Yeah, a lot.
Are you a pretty fast shooter?
Yes, that was actually on my 5D Mark II, which is so slow. So I'm very impressed how that turned out for how slow that camera was.
That's awesome. Oh man, you're gonna hate switching over to mirrorless. It's so much faster. Yeah. It's such a problem. Oh, it's like you have to like contain yourself.
Right.
Oh,
I'm gonna love it.
I love this composition. I might think she's like like these little things bother me. Just something simple like that.
Yeah.
This little crop.
Okay.
Keep like, I don't know if these guidelines are done by default. The rule of thirds guidelines. I know you can adjust them, but I use these constantly to kind of adjust proportions or not adjust proportions. Like a crop based on proportions.
Okay.
So like having her like really perfect right through here, this at the shoulder line, this kind of at her natural waist, I think is really, really beautiful. Okay. And it was a stunning photo before, and I think those little details really help. Yeah, help. And again, I don't know if our clients are seeing. I know that our clients are not seeing those things. They don't know why they like your work. I constantly get people telling me that they like that my work feels candid. My work isn't candid at all. My work is very like, I mean, there's part of it that is very candid, but then the portrait work is very methodical. Makes it sound like it's too much because it's like candid plus like.
I think you have a process.
It's a process, and it's very like guided. And I always tell people some of your favorite candid photos like take work to get to.
They do.
So it's just I'm not here to like brag on myself. It's a point of like the things that we think our clients see are not the things that they see, and we're thinking about our portfolio holistically and in terms of like the emotion and the energy that we're like projecting towards our clients. That's to me the most important thing, right? Like, yeah, we want to talk about the specific compositions and the specific like layouts, but man, at the end of the day, your whole portfolio should like really feel like this one.
And this one like it might not be the best composition. Like again, with that, they're a lot taller than I am, so and I was very close to them, so like this might not be the best composition, but honestly, like her like looking at me and him just being so in love with her, like
100%.
Yeah.
Emotion will always win over composition every single time.
Yep.
That's when we were talking about the previous one, moving into this photo. This is precisely what I wanted to talk about. I don't care if it's not your best photo. It feels and it feels well. It feels like powerful, and I think that a client is going to feel that story in this photo more than they're going to. I mean, you have to remember we're the photo geeks, right? We're the ones that are really spending the time to like learn these like esoteric like composition structures and like cropping and like all these techniques that like they don't care about, and that's why they hire us, so that we can bring our like excitement into this. You really got like at the end of the day, they want their photos to, in this case, like a couple, they want their photos to reflect like who they are and like the love between the two of them. And that's what this photo does. And I don't agree that it's not a great composition. I like the layout of this photo.
Thanks.
But I understand what you're saying. And I think it rises above that. I like the black and white. I like the high contrast. I feel like I might bring, and these are JPEGs, so we can't really like, I feel like they glow just like a little bit too much. Like I might just pull their skin tone down just a touch.
Okay.
So that it doesn't feel too polarized. Okay. Like too high contrast. Cute. This is another one that it's like, I would call this a filler image. I think it's cute. You probably would post this on Instagram and you would get some like, this is cute. I don't think this is not the headliner. This is not the banger on the top of your website. Yep. This is just I
totally agree. I think it's just cute, and like we were talking about adventuring, like something that I feel like we end with a lot of the time in my sessions are like just relaxing. Like I think this was when I was leaving, and it was
knowing that changes it. Okay. I might put this at the end of the portfolio, and then you might even talk about that at some point, like not in the portfolio, but you might mention something, and this could be something that could fit on the website to like reflect that. Okay. You've been on our sessions. A lot of the ones that we shoot, they end up like very calm at the end, like they're very high energy. I was out at the dunes last night, and we shot like running and sprinting and like bounding and guffawing through the mist or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. And then by the end we had a very interesting conversation. We got into like socioeconomic problems and
that is really interesting.
Yeah, we ended up talking about racial structures and what am I trying to say? Like the problems with this country.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we got past that and then just kind of like calmed down and talked and like breathed and just like kind of relaxed. And I think that this showcases that. I literally have an entire folder in my portfolio that I'm rebuilding just called Zen. And it's like, it's less of the high energy photos and more of just those
more
like
of the quiet
calm,
moments.
introspective things. Yeah. So
very cool.
Not knowing that about you, I would have removed this photo from the portfolio. It compositionally, like it's fine. I might
kind of center both of like the line,
balance it, maybe. Yeah, a little bit. But then like, you know, this bleeds off a little bit. So like, are you balancing it based off of her head? Are you balancing it off of like because they are kind of pinned kind of perfectly on these kind of thirds lines. But in general, I wouldn't like overthink this photo. Okay. I would either like nix it or just use it for filler. Okay. Or sorry, a Zen thing. Yeah. I love this. Obviously, having something like this in your portfolio speaks to the LGBTQ plus community, showing that you are like an inclusive photographer that's going to like be creating safe spaces for people. I think that this is a discussion that we've had, especially when we did the inclusivity workshop. Was that
2019? I think
pre-COVID, like just before. Well, like 6 months before, 8 months before COVID. Yeah, like that.
I think it was 2019. Yeah.
I think that, you know, we have to always balance like tokenism versus authenticity, or tokenism versus like inclusivity. We don't want to, you know, go out and be like, where are my gays at? Can I find myself a gay couple and just pretend and make a fake shoot? Right. And I know that's not what this is. I'm aware of this session. But if you do have, you should be, if you have that in your portfolio already and you want to project that, that you're like, you know, respectful of that community, great. If you want that and you don't have that now, cultivate those relationships, or, you know, at least put on your social platforms, you know, symbols like a pride flag or something like that, and wait until you have somebody that approaches you. I don't know. I'm the tokenism argument is like challenging, you know? Yeah. And I'm not exactly the right person to be having this discussion. Though I have a lot of experience in working with that community, but we'll definitely have to bring
someone in and have another workshop or something.
Well, the long-term goal is, of course, to keep working with Up North Pride, and having that that workshop should continue because it was really fun. Are these your babies?
Yes.
I thought so.
Yeah, that's my human baby, one of my fur babies.
I love this. I love this photo. I think it's an interesting discussion to whether or not you include like personal work in here. It doesn't read as personal work, so I think you can totally get away with it. I don't even know if it's a bad thing to have like your family in there.
I don't know either. I included this because when I was like honestly trying to get more, like we were talking about the dog friendly images. Yeah. I was like, I don't have that many family shoots that are recent enough that have dogs in them. And I thought this was such a cute photo because obviously the focus is on Ziggy, the puppy, as my child is clearly trying to shove grass in her mouth. So I kind of thought it was fun and funny, like kind of messy, because that's what having, you know, I think she was 6 months at the time. That's what having a 6-month-old is. For sure. And so, but I don't know. And I love like just the goal of their relationship. Like we adopted Ziggy so our daughter would have somebody to grow up with. And so cute. Like there will probably be this photo like series of them together throughout her whole life. So I think that's why so I included it, because I think that so many people don't include their dogs and like their pets in family photos, and maybe because it's messy or because it takes extra work. And so I just kind of wanted to put it out there that I'm comfortable
here for the mess.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I love that. Yeah. I don't know. The whole like bringing family into things, I think is complicated, but I don't know. I don't have a solid answer for it. 1 second. Hi. Yeah. I know. We're good.
We'll wrap this up in 5 minutes.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe we should go do the rest kind of like through like a broader grid. because I do think that there's looking at the individual photos is interesting, but I think, and this is part of building out this format. We don't know exactly how we're supposed to do this because we've not done this before. I personally think I think looking at them individually is good for like a session, and I think the portfolio review I think can be better in this holistic view.
Okay.
So maybe we should have just been doing these like these 3.
In that sense, I may have rearranged them a little bit. So like, that portrait composition is really similar. So I probably would have made some more variation in the order. But
I'm gonna make a note that anybody who wants to do one, we should ask them to order as you
want to present it.
Yeah. That way, as we're looking through them, we can actually speak to like the order of them as well. And if we had a little more time, I probably would like start to like move things around and kind of reorder things for you and with you. Like it doesn't bother me that these are similar. That's an obvious like composition choice.
Yeah.
I obviously love both photos. I have always loved this one. I mean, always.
Thanks.
It's not that old of a photo, right?
It's like last month.
Okay, cool. And the 4 times that I've seen it, I've always loved this photo.
Thanks.
I think this one also speaks to the one with I think it was the cedar. Beautiful photo. I know right where this is. It's a beautiful location. It reads well, large. I don't think it reads as strongly like in this grid view. But that might be okay. It's trees and nature. And again, at the end of the day, we're reviewing the stuff, but it's up to you how you want to be presented. And if you disagree with me on any of these things, like just disagree with me.
In there.
Keep it in there. Love this like
Thanks.
family energy. Your horizon line is perfectly straight.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Love this one. I don't know this one.
That one I feel like similar. I definitely do that a lot because I really like capturing landscapes. This is kind of a way that I capture landscapes, but having like human interaction in them.
Interesting.
So like, they're sitting on the beach, like the session was wrapped up, like, but I wanted to get the moon pretty much in it. So I had to get like very far and like on the ground to get the moon, like the water and them at the same time. So I don't know. I put it in there because I think that I just wanted to convey like capturing environments is something that everyone can expect. Yeah.
I was actually going to say, I don't think this one has the same problem. I think this one works smaller even. I think partially because if you compare pull all 3 of these in. If you compare these, this one feels much more like a cohesive like landscape.
Okay.
This composition here is interesting, and it's balanced well against this like tiny little focal point, which is like human beings like the moon. So like it pulls our attention up there. She got the moon too. Like this feels like a whole piece. If these people were not here, this would just be like a textural shot. And I think the same could be said about this. I think that this one works so well specifically because it works as a landscape first, and they just happen to be in it.
Okay, cool.
I love that you do a lot with people on the ground, and I think this also speaks back to your concept of showing people messy, showing people like imperfect, and we both value that in our work, and I think that we have different ways of showing it. I think this is something very very Sarah, having people like lying down and like kind of like in the mess, if you will.
Yeah.
These are great. I'm trying to think if there's any. I mean, you got like these are just killer. These are just absolutely awesome photos. I like these as a series. Right? I think this photo is really beautiful, but it almost like needs these. And
I think so too.
This dead center, like, I don't know. You need to do something with this layout, like this specifically, because this is perfect.
Thank you. So this was actually this month, and I haven't posted any to Instagram yet, but I need to. Like, I'm so far behind on my current work on Instagram. But
tell me about
this session was amazing. This was sunrise in the dunes, so it was beautiful and totally worth getting up early and hitting the dunes. Like, I don't know. I really myself, like, I can't get myself up early to go to the dunes, but if I'm meeting someone there, I will do it every day.
Yeah,
like, it's
same.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and then get coffee afterwards.
Yes.
And before.
Yeah.
I was was going to say something about this. Sarah, what was I going to say? I don't know.
Okay.
It's really pretty.
Well, we should really pretty. Wrap it up.
Yeah, I think we're pretty much at the end. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Across the board, it's great. Your work has like really, really kind of like amplified, magnified, gotten good recently. And I think barring a few little changes to, an image like this, I think you've done a very good job of pulling in the people that you are interested in and repelling the not as dirt inclined.
Yeah, I was going to say, just be comfortable with getting messy and we're good.
Yeah, for sure. I think, first of all, thank you for, consistently wasting your time with me. Thank you for sharing all these images with us. I think what will be really fascinating moving forward is finding people that are less confident and having, I think it'll be interesting to compare reviewing your portfolio versus reviewing somebody's portfolio who is more squarely in like the beginning or like the like late beginning of their career. I know you've been shooting forever, but also like professionally shorter than some, but like this portfolio is ready to print. Like put it up. I mean, it mostly is. So put it up and get it out there.
Cool.
Any questions for me about the portfolio stuff, and then we can dive into those questions about like the process that other people had.
No, I don't think so. I think work on the layout a little bit more.
Right, which we did.
Priorities. Yep, I think is things that I should have done going into this. But
something I would say real quick, say that you could do to really nail this down would be to like your order specifically. I would say start at the top. Look at like I would even pull it into something like
a grid
like this in Lightroom, and start to order them, because then you could even like re-export them and it would do them concurrently, so they'd be in the correct order.
Okay.
I would do something like put your like absolute favorites up top and then start to move them around and make sure that you have like some nice like variety and the story points that you want to have up top. Right. So like, do I have like some messy black and whites? Do I have some motion? Do I have some landscape details? Do I have a photo that kind of speaks to my inclusivity as a photographer? Like, are your morals and your aesthetics in that favorite ones? And if they're not, pull some like of the B team into there. And then just let the the C team kind of ride down and that, or delete the C team. Like 30 pictures is a ton, honestly. I'd much rather see somebody with like a just like flawless 10 image portfolio, and then you could fill in the rest of your website, whatever, but I'd much rather see like 10 just beautiful photos than 10 photos that are great and like 400 pictures that are
okay. Yeah. Sounds good.
Oh yeah. How to submit to this process. We're not ready. We're not sure yet. Like I reached out to, or some people reached out to us on Instagram and sent DMs, and then I've been sending over like a Google Drive link to upload files to. That seems to be working for the most part. We've had a pretty good showing of people interested. We will be taking full sessions and portfolios. But yeah, I would say maybe the easiest way is just to, for now, if you're interested in this, send a DM at Our Photo Club Instagram, or you can find me on, I guess, Facebook, or you can also comment below if you're on YouTube. Otherwise, we're going to be refining the process a little bit so that we've got more cohesive, easy to understand process. Cool. Sound good, Sarah?
Sounds good.
Anything else we should do before we bail?
No, I think we're good.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.